What's going on, my little twisted army? It's your boy Magic Pat, and I'm bringing to you another Tackle Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about something that I absolutely just love and enjoy. That's glide baits. Just about any size glide bait, but like the medium to the larger ones. But really, we're talking about a specific one that has gained massive popularity. It's kind of become a viral meme kind of thing in the swim bait community, and is probably one of my favorite, if not the favorite, glide bait, especially with how many fish I've caught recently on it. We're talking about the Pink Lemonade Metro Glide from Throwback Swim Baits. Okay, before we get into it, just like always, please take the time to subscribe to the channel, like this video, consider becoming a member. That money coming in every month helps me out to make better and just more quality videos. I mean, I said that all backwards, but you get the gist of it. Also, descriptions of all of the stuff that I use for these glide bait, swim baits, the place that I get them from, all that stuff is going to be in the description. Do me a favor, watch this video to the end. Help me in the algorithm. Let's get Twisted Tackle going. We need to get this algorithm kicking up. Like, I have to have your help or it's not going to happen. So anyway, video, let's go. So if you see this video and you're watching it, it's probably because you're already into the whole swim bait game. I know a lot of people, they've been into it for a long time. I was into it for a long time, but I kind of dabbled. I didn't get ultra serious up until probably about maybe 5 years ago when I hooked the largest bass of my entire life, and I lost it because I had the wrong gear, which we're going to get into that in another video. Not today, but that sparked probably this fire that is inside me about swim bait fishing. I love all of it. You know what I mean? Big, soft swim baits, slow wedge tails, you know, glide baits. I really love the hard glide baits, especially just because a lot of times the bites that you get on them are just phenomenal. Like, they look good. You see fish come up and they'll chase, they'll get right in behind it. Sometimes they'll crash it. Sometimes you get like a little, you know, just they kind of mouth it. And, you know, I've missed several big fish. You know, I kind of swung a little too early. I should have let the bass try to eat the bait better or more. And it's been a learning experience as far as glide baits go, because I've mostly been, up to about 5 years ago, a soft swim bait kind of guy. Big jig hooks, you know, or I know for a while the Huddleston had like a jig hook problem and people were cutting them and putting treble hooks on the top. I did that. And that's what my biggest bass I ever was hooked on was an 8-inch Huddleston, and it was just a trout color, and that started the obsession. You know, I'd already caught several double-digit bass just goofing off as a kid. Like, I caught a 10-pound plus on a plastic worm, and I caught one close to 13 pounds. It's like 12 pounds, 8 ounces, 12 and a half pounds on a big spinner bait. But I never really done great with the larger swim baits until that day. And so, whole life changed, right? I literally quit fishing with most, you know, regular bass lures up to this point. I have a astronomical collection of swim baits from all different kind of companies, custom bait, ones you could get in the store. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because I kind of hit on a company that's kind of like in between. It's a custom maker. He makes these lures, you know, he's got his own shop and everything, but they're starting to hit on to like the mainstream. It's about $130, $140 for this swim bait, which is not a bad price for a custom bait. That is not bad. So the material, I believe this is like a resin material. I'm not exactly sure what the material is on this. It's plastic-like. It's hard as all get out. Like, I have banged this thing. You can see there's a lot of hook rash for where fish have thrashed on it, but there's a few spots that you can see here, and I think here, where I put this thing right up against rocks, you know, I try not to, but it just happens, right? Like, if I'm trying to get it in the perfect spot, I launch this thing, and I've skipped it off of rocks probably 20, 30 plus times, and this thing is in perfect shape. It's tough. I mean, I've put it through pure hell. You can see there's some hooks that are bent from like the stripes. I actually have caught stripes on this, hybrids, largemouth bass. Here in my area, we have like a large congregation of spotted bass. I mean, they are everywhere, and they are aggressive, and they get big. I caught 13 or 14 over 4 pounds last year One of them went almost 6 pounds. These are spotted bass, and they love this thing. This thing is like drugs to them. They cannot get enough of it. Pretty much it stays on my swim bait rod year round now. Like I have caught fish in winter with this. I have caught fish in the summer. I'm catching fish right now in like the late spring, early spring and late spring. I had the hottest swim bait bite I've ever had in my entire life, probably 2 weeks ago. And it was on this lure. I had 30 plus bites. Now, I didn't catch them all. A lot of them hit and they would roll this over, especially like the smaller spots. They'll try to mouth it. They don't get the hook. They'll just roll this thing over. But I had so many hits. It was crazy. I literally could just pick a rock, pitch it next to the rock, work it past it real quick, chop it. Like I do really well chopping this bait, and we'll talk about actions here in a second. Chopped it a few times, and I just knew within 6 feet of that rock, I would get smacked. Like it didn't, little guy, big guy, it didn't matter. The spotted bass were going insane for this. I caught my biggest river largemouth on this last year, which I actually have it up as part of being edited right now. I'm editing in the process of filming this, and you'll see part of the video playing in behind this. I'm sure I'll put it in somewhere. You'll see which went right at 6 pounds. It was a really weird shaped fish. I didn't think it was going to be as heavy as it was. Ended up being right at, it was like a couple ounces off from being 6 pounds, and that's my biggest river largemouth. Now, I've caught some monsters in lake and big reservoirs and stuff, but as far as like a river system, that would be my biggest largemouth. You know, I've caught some big, really big spotted bass. Not spotted bass, smallmouth bass, but not on swim baits. I've yet to do a smallmouth on a swim bait. I'm curious to see how they're going to like this, because I guarantee you they're going to eat this thing. Everything else seems to. So, I mean, why wouldn't they, right? My only thing, I think it mimics like a gizzard shad in shape, because our gizzard shad are like this size. They're either this size or they're like the giant shoe or boot size. There's like no in between on the gizzard shad here. And I feel like this reminds them something, the movement, something of a gizzard shad. That's the only thing I can think of, because it's too big to be our threadfin shad, and the colors are just too vibrant to be a shad. So who knows, maybe they just think it looks neat, but whatever reason, they eat it like crazy. So it's tough. It lasts through a lot of fish. I mean, I caught so many fish on this. It's just crazy. It really is crazy. Like, I keep saying crazy, but that's what comes to my mind is I am used to, I went one time 6 months without a bite on a soft swim bait, a big, like, 8 to 9 inch soft swim bait. I literally can get a bite on this anytime I go to the river, and at like 7 inches, it's not a giant glide bait, you know what I mean? It's big. Bigger than what most people will throw. I think just the fact that it's a glide bait kind of intimidates folks, even though I know that stuff's getting more mainstream now. More people are getting into it. But I also see a lot of people get into it and then fall off because they're not getting as many bites as they thought they would. You know, I went a long time without a big bite. Not with this thing. I haven't caught any giants on it yet. I will say that. There's been no giants. But the amount of fish that I've caught on this, I've caught, I think the biggest fish on it so far now is like a 6 to 7 pound stripe, couple of 5 pound hybrids, couple of 5 to almost 6 pound spotted bass. Now that's saying something. For y'all that have spotted bass, that's a big spot. Caught a few shoal bass on this. If it's got bass in the name, they go crazy for it. Like I said, 130, 140 bucks, somewhere around there, which is not bad for a custom bait. You know, that's fine-tuned and built by somebody in their shop. And they put a lot of work and detail into these lures. Stock gear, like I have not changed the hooks on it. Usually I take the hooks right off of them. I put my own hooks. I wanted to give it a try to see how theirs held up. No issue. I fish the hardest drag I possibly can on my gear to get away with it. I think I'm running 20 pound or 22 pound fluorocarbon on my rod that I throw this with, and I have the reel cranked down. Like, it's cranked. I'm getting, I don't know, maybe 15, 18 pounds of drag. I really don't know. I've not put a scale to it, but I'm trying not to give them anything. I'm trying to winch these fish in, and the only reason why I've got a bent hook right here is I had a fish actually get me on a rock out on the river. Our river is loaded with big rocks, and I was fighting a fish that was hung on a rock, and I mean, it's a slight bend. Not exactly sure what hooks he has on here, but they're really good hooks. And another reason why I left them on is because the way that they've got this bait tuned, you can work this bait a lot of ways. We'll get into that. We'll kind of go into that with the hooks. So you can chop this bait, which is my favorite way to fish it. You know, I sit there, I snap, 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 snap. I make that lure just whomp, 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 whomp. Yeah, sound effects and all, right? Just hoop, doop, 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 and then I pause. And then I doop, 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 pause. And then I doop, doop. I just give it erratic, just snap, 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 snap. And I get blasted by fish. I'm looking for aggressive fish when I'm working it that way. But it will also burn. I have thrown it out, and I have just cranked the reel as fast as I can, and that lure will just snake. I've only had it roll over once, and I mean, I was trying to get it to roll over. I was in current, it was coming up current, and I was burning it like crazy, and it rolled over once. So you can burn this lure, you can chop it, and then the reason why I left these hooks on here is that it sinks so slow. My river is very shallow. Like, I think some of the deepest parts that I fish are only like 8 foot deep. You know, it's a lot of rocks and crags and stuff that the fish sit behind in the current. And I backlashed one time. I don't usually backlash, but I backlashed pretty bad. And the way our river is, if you have treble hooks on a bait and it touches the bottom, snagged. It's over. Game over, right? And so I'm trying to feed it out, and I'm just like already in my head, like, I'm probably not going to get this back. I've lost this bait, yada, yada, yada. Go to reel it up, and it hasn't touched bottom yet. It literally it probably sank maybe 1.5 to 2 foot in that whole period of time. I don't know, maybe a minute. Like, it's not like, it seems longer because it's in your head, but probably like a full, minute of sinking, it had never touched the bottom. And it's because they've got it tuned with these hooks to where you can also, if you want to fish it, you can do like the slow S, like you do the larger swim baits. And you can let it pause, and it will just sit there. And you can let it sit in front of a fish for a long time. You basically, like some of my bigger swim baits, like the Depths 250, these bad boys, they're big S motions, and you let them sit there in the fish's face. Or like the Clash 9, you can fish this that way. Now, I haven't really had as much luck doing it that way, but I haven't really fished it that much either. I've only fished it like that maybe 2 to 3 times. And the reason why is that fast, erratic chop is getting blasted by largemouth, spotted bass. Everything is just nuking it. So why change it, right? Come wintertime, I fish it more in the winter, we may slow it down and just see how it does, let it just kind of hang. But you don't have to fish it that way. You can kind of do a little bit of everything with this lure, which is what makes it so good. Now, it's got a soft plastic tail, and with the amount of fish that I have caught on it, the only tear is that little bitty tear right there, and that was just done last week. I had a little spotted bass that would not let go of the tail, man. He didn't even have to hook. He was just dogging this tail, and he put a little bitty rip in it. So normally when you buy, one of these glide baits from Throwback, you usually want to order like a pack of tails to go with it just as a replacement. I've yet to replace this, so it's already lasted me 5 months or so. I'm not exactly sure how long these have been out. This color was actually made by Marshall from the Homeless Fisherman. Like, this is his color. They worked together to make this, and so it hasn't been out, I don't think, too long. Now, it's getting major popular. It's getting harder to get these. And I will say the first mistake that I made when I bought this lure, I made a major mistake. I didn't buy more. I got out here with this one and was thinking that it was going to be like my other glides and swims, that I get, maybe 1 or 2 fish every couple of weeks. It wasn't going to be a big issue. And this thing was just getting munched over and over and over and over again, and just like drag pulling from like big stripes. And it dawned on me, I'm like, bro, I am going to lose this at some point. I mean, it's just how it is. And I don't have a replacement. And so at that time, they weren't as popular as they are now. Because you've seen, I don't know if you watch, but if you have, you're watching this, you probably know Ty Pig Patrol. He does a lot of swim bait fishing in his lakes and ponds in Texas. And he met up with Marshall, and they used this, and he caught some of the biggest bass he's ever caught in his entire life. And now this thing is ultra popular, ultra hard to get your hands on. You have to kind of, I think you got to subscribe to Throwback's website or their page, or it's a website, and they'll let you know when they do drops on different colors. And I believe last Friday they just did another batch of this because so many people are catching fish on this that they're literally begging him to make more of them. That's how good this thing is. It's hard to put it down. And another great thing for a lot of people that are just getting into swim bait fishing, or even people that have been in it for a while, and you don't want to throw something like this that's like 10 ounces or more. You could throw this, because with the swivels, with the well, actually they do have swivels. They're built-in swivels on the hooks, which is a really good thing. Helps keep fish from throwing it. But with the split ring and the hooks, this whole bait only weighs about 2 ounces. And I've weighed multiples. Like, I've got 3 of them. I made sure last time to get a couple, even though, I probably shouldn't have money-wise. But, I wanted to make sure I had that insurance, that in case I do get broke off on a giant fish, that, I had extras. And so I weighed them. And they all are like dead nuts, 2 ounces with everything on it. And that is nothing. You can throw that all day, and you don't even have to have a dedicated swim bait rod to throw this thing. It just needs to be able to respond well to the action of the lure. I want to say the one that I'm throwing it on is it's Okuma's. It's their Guide Select B series swim bait rod, and it's actually their medium heavy, and it's rated like, I don't know, like 2 to 4 ounces or 2 to 5 ounces. And I swear it's like meant for this lure. Like, I feel like it was literally meant for this thing. It loads up on a fish real good, and it keeps them pinned. So kind of worked out that I had that rod. It's the perfect combo. I am fishing it so far. I've fished it in the river, and I've fished it in a few lakes. It does really good in current and out of current. I will say it chops better when there's not current, but it doesn't scare me to throw it in current. Like, you can see in my river, we have a lot of flowing water, a lot of fast water. It's real shallow, real narrow, and this puppy will walk like the best of them right through it. It might try to roll a little bit in the heavy, heavy current, but I'm not really trying to fish the heavy current, especially in my kayak. I'm trying to keep it to the sides, keep it, low profile, like the eddies and stuff when the current's coming around the rocks. That seems to be the best whenever the big spots are eating. And the stripes. The stripes and the big spotted bass are all literally like in the same areas. So I could get a big spotted bass, or I could get a decent striped bass, or even a large striped bass. I had a monster swipe at this and miss it. I don't know how. I mean, you can see this thing for a mile away underwater. And that's another cool thing. With this color pattern, you can see it from a long ways off. I'm even fishing it in muddy water, really, really muddy water. And you can see this thing. It looks just like a neon light coming through the water chopping. And them fish, I don't know if they hear it or they see it, or if it's a combo of both, but they home in right on this thing. I really can't say too much more about it, and I can't say anything more awesome either, because, I mean, it's just an incredible lure. And I've been waiting for a while to make this video because I wanted to get more fish on it and really get a feel for how well this thing does. These Metro glides, especially in this color, are fish catching machines. And I've got another color too. I've had some big fish roll up on, and I haven't fished it as much just because I've been hung up on this. It's been literally tied to the rod since last year. Like, I haven't really taken it off. I got like a green with a green back with like a white belly, and it's got like a darker green dot, and they like that too. It kind of reminds me of like a baby bass color, but like with a kind of a kiwi color or whatever to it. All in all, whether you're an expert in glide baits and swim baits, or you're just getting into it, I would definitely look into their company. And this, I mean, I'll show you, this is how they come to you. They send them to you in their own little box, and I literally keep them in their box. When I take them in the tackle box, I throw them back in this. No big deal. But you can see, that's how they send it to you. In here, with the split rings, the hooks, and a lot of times they've got a sticker. I don't know if there's one underneath. I think I took it out. They'll have a sticker or something in here for you to put on your kayak, your boat, your truck, whatever. And it's a killer lure, killer company. They're really responsive too. I've got a really bad habit about about reaching out to people too much. It's just a problem I have, but I get excited and I feel like, I got to have questions answered. So every time I have reached out to ask questions about this lure, when there's going to be more drops, different colors, what kind of actions do the rod need to be, I've literally gotten a message back every single time. Now, it may not have been like right then and there. A couple have been like a few hours later, but I have literally been messaged back every single time. So don't be afraid to ask them questions. Email them, message them on Instagram. And that's where I've literally learned about them. And I do a lot of my communication, everything from them is through Instagram. Just sending, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Like, this lure, how much does it weigh? What's a good action rod for? What's a good rod? What good reel for it? I fish a faster reel with this. It's not a super fast reel. It's probably like a 7 to 1, an 8 to 1, somewhere around there, but a faster reel so I can chop really good with it. But all in all, this is probably one of my S tier glides. Like seriously, like I have had bigger fish so far come after this, but I've never caught a giant on it. Whereas I have had maybe one or two decent sized fish come after this so far, although I've seen people that have been catching some absolute monsters on this thing. The sheer number of fish that has been caught on this already since I got it. This is my first one. You can see the rash on it. It has been getting some serious use. This is literally like S tier class glide bait. I would say you need to look them up if you want to get into swim baits. You want to get into glide baits. And they just came out with their own soft swim bait too, which I haven't gotten my hands on. At some point I will get one. But you should look into this. Contact them. Ask questions. Find out what's a good setup for them. And subscribe to their like email subscription or whatever, because that's where you find out when they do their drops, because they just now started sending out stuff to other stores. Like, so I think Tackle Warehouse now gets shipments of some of their stuff, like that are sold out right now because, everybody's starting to figure out how good these things are. But, get out there, talk to them, subscribe to it so you can see when they do their drops. And if you can't get one through their website, because they always sell out really quick, try Tackle Warehouse. Keep an eye on them. See if they got some orders in. Now, they don't have this color. Most of these you have to get through actual Throwback's website. But, Tackle Warehouse has killer colors. They got like a shad color. They get like the crank downs. And they have a bunch of different types. You can get like their topwater baits. It's like a walking bird kind of. It looks really good. I haven't caught anything on it yet, but it hasn't really been topwater season either. I've mostly just been glides. That's coming up real soon that I'll be throwing mostly topwater, and I'm going to have that on there. And they got crazy colors. Just whatever you think is going to work for you, keep an eye out for it and try to pick you up one. So that's it. That's most of the video. I appreciate you sticking out to this whole time. This is one of my favorite things, and I get obsessed over these things. Like, I have way too many glides and swim baits, and it's a problem. It's a major problem, but, I also hook a lot of good fish on them, and it would be a good idea for you to maybe give it a try. It may not be your thing. You may not like big baits, but when you see a big bass chase something like this, it's going to change your whole perspective on fishing for bass. It's going to change you. So get out there. I appreciate you sticking it out to the end, and I will catch you back out on the water. Peace.